And now, our special presentation. The 65th anniversary of Partout.
Hello, Acadiana, and welcome to the anniversary special celebrating the last 65 years of Partout.
For the next 30 minutes, you'll hear about the history of Partout. Danielle breaks down the meaning of Partout, and we catch up with some familiar faces to the Partout airwaves.
So let's take you back to the beginning of Partout.
The first morning show on KLFY debuted in 1957. It wasn't until 1962 when it became known to viewers as Partout. Here's a look back at the people who hosted the show throughout the years. Floyd Cormier began his career on KLFY in 1962. According to his obituary, he was there for the inception of Partout when it began in June of 1962. He retired in 1989 after 43 years of broadcasting, then later returned to radio. Cormier passed away in May of 2003. Bill Bessall followed and was on Partout for several decades. Jim Olivier hosted Partout, and many viewers say he did it all. Jim spoke not only in French, but he sang French music. The first half of Partout was in French. Barry Ancelet used to appear on Partout with Jim Olivier.
Jim Olivier he was so involved in making music available, and not only Cajun and Zydeco, but swamp pop as well, music from this area, and putting it on television and validating it and celebrating it and letting us, participate in it. At one point, he became interested in performing it. He had a pretty good voice, and he put out a couple of albums. Jim Olivier singing original songs in Cajun French. And they were very successul.
Jim Olivier was the host of Partout and Meet Your Neighbor during his 24 years of service with KLFY, according to his obituary. In 1997, Jim opened Jim Olivier's Home Improvement. In April 2008, Jim Olivier passed away at the age of 57. KLFY TV 10 personality Gary Arnold then worked for 42 years at the station. Gary Arnold was on morning television longer than anyone in Acadiana. He served as the host of Partout and Meet Your Neighbor. Gary was the first full-time news anchor on Partout. He said for 42 years he walked into a job that he loved and enjoyed. Gary's last day on air was in August of 2017.
As Acadiana's oldest and longest running morning news show, most locals know the name of News 10's Partout, but do they know what it means? Well, I hit the streets to find out. Some knew the exact meaning.
It's obviously a French term, a saw that was used in the timber industry.
Occasionally you'll see them as decorations in people's houses.
Some had an idea.
Passe, meaning pass, Partout. I should know this, but I don't.
I don't want to be wrong.
So pass the day with information. I'm embarrassed to say that I don't, but I'm going to take a shot at it. Pass the day.
And others.
I have no idea.
I don't. Yeah, I do not.
From Partout's very own Jim Olivier, here is the real meaning of Partout.
Partout is written in two words, P-A-S-S-E, P-A-R-T-O-U-T. Literally, the words mean go everywhere. Passe means pass. You'd say pass everywhere. But the name Partout is the name that Cajuns gave to a cross-cut saw years ago. You've seen the two-handle cross-cut saw that they use, cut, timber and wood and stuff with. That's what they call a Partout, and I guess they call it that because you could take it anywhere.
Jim Olivier played a major role in shaping the Partout morning show as we know it today. His love for the French-speaking Acadiana culture and Cajun music became the show's main focus.
News 10's Gerald Grunick spoke to his wife, Anna Olivier, about the memories she had of her husband, as well as his love for Partout.
So I actually met Jim because I would come on the show. I would come on Partout as well as Meet Your Neighbor to do some promotion. I was an RN at the time at Lafayette General, and I would come in to do interviews for Home Care Week and another program we had. And so I knew the power of his reach because he was a local celebrity. He was the face of Acadiana in so many ways. Jim was so passionate about his French Acadian heritage and the culture that we had here. He knew the richness of it, and he wanted to preserve it, especially the side of music as well as the French language.
The first 30 minutes of the show is done completely in French. We start with French music, we do news in French, do weather in French, we have interviews in French, and of course the music is done in French. There are many people from out of state who move into Louisiana in this area that say, well, we don't understand the music and don't understand what you're saying, but we enjoy it anyway.
And French was actually his first language. And of course, just being immersed in the culture, they would dance on the weekends, on Friday nights, and the music, and it was always something in him. He even recorded himself 5 albums and also some singles.
T'as travaillé toute ta vie pour élever tous tes petits vieux Cajuns.
So this was such a beautiful platform for him to help others to succeed and to also bring pride to the community. And he just loved it. It was in his soul. Passe Partout meant everything to him. It was so much a part of his life, and he was so proud of the work that he did in, again, promoting the musicians, the culture, but just the people in general. He loved to have human interest stories because he wanted to show the good side of people. Jim absolutely loved Passe Partout. He loved what it stood for. He loved to be able to touch the community and to say good morning to everyone. He was not a morning person, and you have to get up pretty early to be on the set for Passe Partout, and yet he did it with such great passion.
C'est mon le boss de la maison, c'est moi qui paie loyer.
Oh non, mon grand kilote. Là, c'est le bout. Là, tu manges au cake.
Great story there by Gerald Grunig. Jim Olivier's name will forever be synonymous with the Passe Partout morning show and what it has become today.
And his is just one of many stories by past anchors that we hear this evening.
After the break, we hear from News 10 anchor Darla Montgomery and former Passe Partout host Gary Arnold about their time on Passe Partout.